we're going to get into the shit show. And that was yesterday. Yesterday's shit show actually started on Sunday. Well, let's go back to where it really starts. I cook with propane here on the boat. Both the stove and oven cook off propane as well as the grill. And there was a point where I was trying to decide whether or not to put in a single tank, stay with two separate tanks for the two systems, and ultimately I decided to stay with two separate tanks simply because what are the odds that two tanks that are running on two separate appliances that have different consumption rates and all this stuff are going to be empty at the same time? It seemed like a smart thing to do. So on Sunday, the tank for the oven ran out. And that's fine. The whole idea is what are the odds of them both going out at once so I can now swap between the two, which I did. And of course on Monday the other tank ran out, right before the end of the trip, which is great. So what are the odds that they can both run out at exactly the same time? 100%. It's absolutely going to happen because that's how things work. Which led to, instead of Tuesday us staying at Jekyll Island, which was the plan to stay there and check things out, we had to move on because we lost the ability to cook. We like to eat. So we ended up moving on to Ferdinand Beach, which is 28 miles down the road. It wasn't far. But I got there and found a place about a mile and a half, a little bit more from where we anchored by foot, to go do the tank exchange so I could get a full tank. And it's 90 degrees out. The Uber app on my phone fails and does not work. So I am now on foot in 90 degree heat, carrying an empty propane tank to this place, and get there, get my tank, switch it out, and on the way back, I'm no more than a quarter mile back towards the boat, and I've got the tank over my back. I'm holding with both hands like this, and I've got my shirt with my phone wrapped up in it, tucked inside the top of the tank, because of course I'm wearing a bathing suit, because that's all I wear nowadays, and I cannot put the phone in that without just nightmare. So at that point, the phone goes shooting out of the tank. I managed to catch it on the way down before it hits the ground, but in the process, the tank slips on the sweat of my back and drops off the other side of my body. And of course, mentally, the first thing I'm thinking, oh my god, I'm dropping the propane tank. What if this thing fucking blows up, So I caught it with my face and just smashed the tank against the side of my head. I mean, rung my own bell like you wouldn't believe. And so whatever, you know what I mean? Now I'm like, what the fuck? I got blood on the side of my face and everything like that. It's not bad now because Lida spent like an hour yesterday holding an ice pack on it. But I was fucked up. Anyways, so we get back to the boat, and there wasn't much going on in Ferdinand Beach, so I was like, let's make a few more miles. We got to get gasoline anyways, and I didn't like looking at the rain at this place, so we found another one on the way and decided to go a little bit further down the road. And we pulled into this next marina, which is one of these, I've seen a couple of them where they're really, really narrow to get into. All of the slips and everything on it are very narrow and hard to navigate, especially on a boat this size. And Navionics has the fuel dock in the wrong corner. So, we end up getting all twisted around, the wind's blowing, there's current, all kinds of stuff. It's a nightmare. But I finally got us back to the point where we're ready to exit the place, and then just jumped onto a slip and walked over and grabbed the tank and filled it up for this was the air conditioner, which is basically for the dog. Anyways, I get back to the boat, and we're ready to come out, and the boat still did not want to do what I wanted it to do, so I let it do what it wanted to do and let it spin. Now, I had the dinghy tied up on the side of the boat rather than behind us, just because of the quarters in the way where we had to maneuver to get out. And of course, right before I managed the thing, when I let the boat do what it wanted to do and let it pull around, it starts spinning. I'm getting lined up, and one of the lines from the dinghy gets pulled under the boat and wraps around the propeller. And of course, I know what that means, because I've had that happen before, where lines get caught in a prop. Last time it cost $3,500 to fix. So I shut the boat down, tied up to the friggin' dock, and hey, I get to go scuba diving. So I strapped in my gear, got under the boat, was under there for a good half hour getting this thing off. Finally got it all set and taken care of, and we'll get it back in the way. Okay, we keep getting our asses kicked with these stupid, or I keep getting my ass, everybody else is chilling. And then I get back in the boat, and we're leaving, and we're pulling out through all this narrow stuff, and that's when Lila looks up at me and says, "Oh my God, where's your tank?" My brand new scuba tank that I've now used once is back in the slip. So I have to have her take over driving the big boat, slow it down to minimal speed, but she can't stop because it's narrow, it's current, all that stuff. I have to jump from the moving boat into the dinghy, untie it, drive it back in, pick up the tank, come back to this boat while everything's still moving, tie back up, get back in this boat and drive. And, it's just, okay, at that point, it's laugh about everything. You have to, because I still look at it like, even this shit day of mine, I got to scuba dive, I'm out here in the sun, it's beautiful, blah, blah, blah. And so we anchor, and about like 6-7 miles further up than that, like an hour later, and I said, we have this nice steak dinner. We're only like 40 miles away from St. Augustine. We're going to get there today, which we're on the way there right now. And we'll go swimming, and when he comes back in from swimming, he goes down the companionway with his wet bathing suit, gets water all over the place, and I followed after and went ass over tea kettle, steak flying everywhere, vegetables all over the salon, plate smashes. I go down, mash everything on the way down, rip my elbow open, bruised every part of my freaking body, especially my pride. And it was just like the absolute greatest punctuation to a fucking retarded day. And I can't complain, but I figured you guys would get a laugh out of that. It was a fucking shit show.